Okay, let's dive into another stack of interesting reports. Today, we're zeroing in on Samsung.
Yep, Samsung again, lots happening.
We've pulled together some articles covering, well, everything from upcoming software updates for popular phones
Uh-huh.
to a, frankly, surprising new feature popping up on lock
Oh,
screens.
yeah, that one's
And
intense.
even what looks like an accidental peek at future hardware.
That's right. So our mission, really, with this deep dive is to take these different threads, these articles and reports, and sort of pull out the essential bits, maybe the surprising details.
Yeah, give you a clear picture of what's bubbling up in the Samsung world right now.
Exactly.
Ah.
Straight from the latest analyses.
So we've got sources on like the One UI 8 update for A series phones,
Mm-hmm.
this new AI feature launch.
Glance AI.
Right, Glance AI,
Mm.
and this little detail from an app listing that seems to confirm some upcoming device names.
Consider this your shortcut, getting you informed on key Samsung stuff, not just what's happening, but maybe a little bit about the why behind it.
Okay, let's unpack this stack. Starting with those software updates.
Right.
Our first source looks at the One UI 8 update, specifically for the Galaxy A series phones, which are super popular.
Yeah, huge sellers. In this update, One UI 8, it's based on Android 16.
And the big takeaway from this report seems to be that Samsung is moving fast on this one.
Fast indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already kicked off the beta program for One UI 8.
Which is kind of weird, right? Because One UI 7 is still rolling out to some phones.
Exactly. It's notable. And the expectation for the stable One UI 8 release, well, the reports say this summer.
Okay, so June, July, August.
Could be. Some sources are even suggesting it might happen as early as next month, July.
Wow. That timing feels, well, really proactive, doesn't it?
It does, especially since, the sources describe One UI 8 itself as a much smaller upgrade compared to One UI 7, feature-wise at least.
So why to rush?
Well, what's fascinating, or what the source speculates, is why Samsung might be more confident, maybe faster this time. It suggests it could be a strategic move.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe part of an effort to regain some user trust that might have been dinged a bit by the One UI 7 rollout.
Ah, okay. So like a smoother, quicker experience this time around builds confidence.
Precisely. From that angle, it's framed as an important update, almost crucial, even if it's not packed with flashy new features. It shows Samsung prioritizing getting that core software out quickly.
That makes sense. And speaking of getting it out, the reports analyze Samsung's update policy to give us an expected list. It's not official yet, right?
Not official, no, but based on their usual patterns, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
An expected list of eligible Galaxy A series phones for One UI 8.
And it's a pretty wide range, covering models like the A55, A54, A35, A34. Loads of them, even down to the A06, A15, A16, including LTE and 5G versions.
It's a long list. You'll probably want to check the specific source or our notes for the full breakdown if you have an A series phone.
Good point.
But the key takeaway is that a lot of recent A series owners can likely expect this update.
But, as always with major updates, some older phones might be reaching the end of the line for support.
Exactly. So if your phone is older, maybe older than the A33 or A53 generation, you might need to wait for that official list for Samsung or, start thinking about an upgrade down the line.
Right. Okay, and that this summer timing, you mentioned maybe July.
Yeah, no exact date,
Huh?
but the source is connected directly to Samsung's big hardware launch that's planned for next month.
Ah, the foldables.
Yep, the upcoming Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Galaxy Z Flip 7, they're confirmed to boot One UI 8 right out of the box.
Okay, so that lines up. Reports suggest a July release for those phones,
Mhm.
which fits perfectly with Android 16 likely releasing, like, now-ish this month, and then Samsung adding their One UI 8 layer for a July rollout.
It really points to a tightly integrated hardware and software release cycle this time. The new software is clearly timed to debut on their flagship foldables.
Absolutely. Okay, let's pivot now to something completely different.
Okay.
This new feature using AI in a place I really didn't expect. Our second source talks about Glance AI.
Yeah, this one's definitely different. Glance AI. It's described as a new AI-driven shopping and styling experience,
Okay.
integrated directly into the lock screen for Samsung users, starting in the US.
Wait, integrated into the lock screen?
Yep.
That feels like a huge shift in how you even start using your phone. How does that even work?
Well, it's a partnership. Glance is partnered with the Samsung Galaxy Store. The core idea uses generative AI,
Okay, AI.
powered by Google's Gemini AI and Imagen Tech. It can analyze a selfie you take or even just a photo from your gallery,
Right.
and then it can show you, you in different outfits or styles, lets you visualize looks on yourself.
Huh. So you can see how, like, a shirt or a whole outfit might look on you virtually?
Exactly.
And then what? Just look at it.
Nope. Then you can actually shop for those looks, apparently with just one tap.
Whoa.
Or you could save the generated image as your wallpaper, maybe share it.
Okay, that's quite something.
The goal, according to the sources, is really to turn that lock screen into a more useful space for shopping, content discovery, making it easy to access stuff without even unlocking fully or opening specific apps.
Is this just some small trial? Or is it bigger?
Seems pretty significant. The sources say Glance partners with over 400 brands for the recommendations and handling the orders.
400 brands.
Wow. And it apparently stays fresh by pulling in trending content, maybe local events, social media activity, that kind of thing.
But do you have to use? Is it forced on you?
No. Critically, the reports emphasize it's fully opt-in.
Okay, that's important.
You can access it as a standalone app if you prefer, or if you choose, enable it as that lock screen feature. And it's backed by some big games, Google, Geo Platforms, Mithril Capital.
Right. The sources even have some quotes. Jason Shem from Samsung Galaxy Store USA says Glance AI fits their goal for high-quality personalized experiences and makes the platform dynamic right from the lock screen.
Makes sense from their perspective.
And Naveen Tiwari, the founder of Glance, talks about helping people see what's possible and act instantly.
It's certainly a very different approach to that first screen you see, from just a static wallpaper or notifications to potentially a dynamic AI-powered shopping portal.
It really pushes the boundaries of what the lock screen even is. Okay, so moving to our third source. This one brings us back to those foldables we mentioned.
Yes.
And it sort of ties things back to that software timing we started with. It looks like Samsung might have accidentally confirmed the names.
Accidentally seems like the right word. This apparent confirmation came via an app listing. It briefly popped up on the Galaxy Store itself.
What did it say?
The listing was titled Samsung Internet Browser for Fold 7 and Flip 7.
Okay, well, unless that's a really elaborate fake out.
Right. Seems pretty definitive.
That tells us the names are indeed Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Galaxy Z Flip 7, which, again, lines up perfectly with that expected launch next month in July.
And here's the really telling part, the bit that links it back directly to our One UI 8 discussion.
Okay.
This specific app listing, the one for the Fold 7 and Flip 7 browser, it's apparently identical to the listing that's been found for the Samsung Internet Browser for One UI 8 beta app.
Ah, so the same browser build listed for the beta software is also listed specifically for the Fold 7 and Flip 7.
Exactly. The one found on devices already running Android 16 and the One UI 8 beta.
That detail really solidifies the connection, doesn't it? New hardware, new software launching together next month.
It certainly seems that way.
And the sources also bring up those previous hints from Samsung themselves. Remember, they teased an Ultra experience for the new Fold.
Right, the potential Galaxy Z Fold 7 Ultra.
This accidental listing doesn't mention an Ultra model, but that earlier tease from Samsung adds another layer to what we might expect in the lineup.
It does. And this kind of accidental confirmation showing up via an app listing tied to a beta software version, it does raise an interesting question. What does it tell us about how tightly integrated Samsung's software development and hardware production cycles actually are?
Yeah, it suggests the software build for those new devices must be pretty stable already, right? Locked down.
Seems likely.
Yeah.
It points to them being deep in the final stages, preparing both the hardware and the software simultaneously.
Makes sense for a July launch. The source also mentions some earlier reports about the Samsung Internet Browser itself, the One UI 8 version, potentially getting the ability to summarize online videos, like using AI to give you a summary. They're hoping to see that feature actually arrive next month with the new foldables.
Oh, that'd be a neat feature. A practical AI edition potentially landing with the new hardware and software bundle.
Yeah, could be useful.
A nice potential bonus for people using that new browser on One UI 8.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. What does this all mean? We've looked at three pretty distinct pieces of info from these reports.
Right.
There's the strategic, proactive rollout plan and the expected list for the One UI 8 update on the A-series phones.
The core software update.
Then there's the launch of this surprising new AI shopping thing, Glance AI, integrated right into the lock screen.
The novel feature experiment.
And finally, the sort of accidental confirmation of the Fold 7 and Flip 7 names tied directly to that One UI 8 launch timing, plus Those ultra hints.
And the hardware-software link, yeah.
So what's the bigger picture?
Well, taken together, I think these pieces give you a really good snapshot of Samsung's strategy right now. You see their push for faster, maybe trust-building software updates across a whole range of devices.
Yeah, not just flagships.
Right. And their willingness to experiment with totally new user interactions, like this lock screen shopping idea.
Okay.
And then how their big hardware launches, the foldables, are really closely tied to the debut of their latest core software version, One UI 8.
So for you listening, it's about staying informed on how your current phone might change with updates or what you can expect from the cutting-edge future devices and the software driving them. It shows a company that's, actively iterating.
Definitely. They're working on the foundational software experience with One UI 8, trying to build trust while also exploring these new, sometimes surprising, ways for you to interact with your phone day to day.
It's a multifaceted approach, isn't it? Addressing core stuff like performance and trust with the update, while also testing out novel features like Glance AI and prepping the next big hardware launch.
A lot of moving parts.
So it leaves us with this final thought, maybe something for you to mull over. As software features like this AI shopping on the lock screen get integrated into the most basic parts of our phones,
Yeah, the very first screen you see.
how does that fundamentally change the way you interact with your device throughout the day? Is the lock screen changing from just a gatekeeper?
To something much more active, like an interactive portal.
Exactly. Is it shifting from just a passive display to maybe an active launch pad for doing things, whether it's checking news or notifications or trying on clothes?
It definitely changes the dynamic, something to think about as these AI features become more embedded.
Definitely something to think about. Keep exploring, keep thinking about these developments.